Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of Scandal. And I enjoyed this episode. A lot went down. We had Jake confront Olivia, which was a really, really good scene. We had Cyrus confront Olivia, which was another really good scene. And we had a case of the week, which seemed very similar to a Bill Cosby situation that has been going down in the media. So, yeah. And then we had some makeout sessions with Elizabeth North and David Rosen, which was, I don't know how I feel about that. But wow, good episode. So let's start off the top. We had Fitz apologizing to the American people for, putting them through this scandalous last couple of weeks, them having to explain to their children why, the president is having an affair or all this scandalous thing that's been going on in the White House. And he apologized to the American people, and he basically said he wants to get right back to work and earn their trust back. And, let's face it, Fitz has never really been a good president, but I think he means it when he says what he is looking to move forwards with. And that is, getting the American people the better job, health care, all that kind of stuff. So, we'll see what happens. But let's face it, like Cyrus points out later on in the episode, Olivia is really the one running the country right now. And that scene at the end with her standing on the presidential seal was pretty powerful. There was this moment when, Cyrus is realizing very quickly that he has an Olivia Pope problem. And that is because she's basically dictating everything to the president. She's telling him what to do. She's telling him how to react. She's telling him, what events to attend. And Cyrus really isn't doing anything as chief of staff. It's Olivia. And not only is she there all the time, but she is answering everything for the president. And I love that scene when Cyrus is like, I'm basically answering to you, or, I'm the number two to you. And I don't like that. I don't like sharing, and I don't like this. And he calls it out straight, point blank. He says, you are the president of the United States right now, because Fitz isn't making any decisions. You're making all the decisions, and you have all the power right now. And she's all like, no, I don't. And then it's like in that moment at the end when she wants to tell Fitz that she is the one who got her dad released from prison and Melly as the co-signer. She doesn't say anything, and she takes that moment and she takes like a big swig of the drink, and she looks like she's about to confess all of her sins, and then she just boom goes into fixer mode and starts telling him what he's going to do with all of his issues that he just told her before. So I thought that was pretty powerful scene. And then she's just standing on the oval in the middle of the oval on the presidential still, and it's just like she looks like one bad mama jamma. So the other scene that I really, really, really liked in this episode was at the top when Jake confronts Olivia. He's sitting in her apartment and he basically says, sit down. He screams at her and he's like, who do you think you are? You get this man who is a mass murderer released from prison, and you don't think that there's going to be casualties? He tells her that that Elise is dead, and that basically Olivia is the one who killed her. And I love it when he says, the woman that I'm in love with had my ex lover killed, or that my ex lover, or the ex person I loved had my new lover. I was like, it was a good little play on words, but as confused as Jake is, that's how we are too. Who does he really love, or who did he really love? But that was a really good and important scene to have, because Jake was pretty much like, you realize that you're turning into your father, that you have become the man that he wanted to create. And you're like a mini me right now. You act like you're all holier than thou with your little white hat, but you just let a mass murderer go. And only because it benefited you. You're not, he says, you're basically not tied to all the obligations of being in the White House, and you're not wearing a wedding ring. So, and there's no more Senate committee. So you basically got off in the clear, and you got your crazy ass dad out of prison, and now there's going to be all these casualties in its wake. And I like that she's all defending herself, and it's like, no, honey, you let go of the beast. So then he gets up and he kisses her, which I thought was kind of weird. I mean, I do like them as friends, but I don't know if these are the kind of friends that I want to see them as. More like frenemies. And so when she finds out that the president has now put Jake on finding Rowan, obviously we all know what the plan B is going to be, which is to kill him. And then when he says it, Olivia has this look of like, oh my God, you're going to kill my dad. It's like, didn't you pull the trigger on your dad in last season's one of last season's episodes? So yeah, we all know that Rowan needs to go, and I just don't want to hear anything more about B613. And when Huck started saying it, I was like, please do not say that word again. But again, I like how everyone's sort of finding out that Olivia had him released, except for Fitz, who has no clue. Clueless, that man. We had no Melly in this episode, which was okay because there was a lot going on. We had a weird makeout scene between David Rosen and Elizabeth North, and then we had a really cute scene with Susan Ross as she came with coolers to go talk to David, because obviously I think she has a crush on him. Now, I'm not sure, is she married or is she a single mom? Like, I think she's a single mom. And they had a nice scene in last week's episode, so I like that they're following up with that, and they have a cute little relationship, but he's in the middle of his office making out with Elizabeth, and Susan's sitting in the waiting area with a 6-pack of coolers. It was just weird. It was just very weird. And then, of course, we had the case of the week, which was about a man named Frank Holland who was getting a Presidential Medal of Freedom because he had done all this, he had written all these books for women, and he's this huge humanitarian, and he has done all this stuff to help women, become very educated and great writers and all this kind of stuff. But he has been drugging them and raping them. So he had been doing this throughout his entire career, and nobody had come forward until just now. And then we just start to, which was a really, really great scene where we're seeing him sitting there and he's trying to explain to Olivia, that there's these women, and that, he's doing everything he can to empower them, and, that these women are, they've been led astray or something. I can't remember all the things he was trying to say, but at the same time we were getting the confessional from all these women that Quinn and Huck and the new guy were all, I think his name is Dwayne, what's his name again, Curtis, and they're getting all these testimonials from these women who are pretty much saying word for word what the other woman is saying that happened to them, that he told them that they were special, that they were talented, that they were going to be these great writers, and then he would invite them to his house, and then a couple, after 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 meetings, he would give them some wine, and then they would wake up, and then they'd be like, all groggy, and they'd be trying to get up, and then they'd pass out again, and he would rape them. And it was just a little too reminiscent of this whole Bill Cosby saga that's been going on, and just extremely disturbing because it's, something that is happening. These women are being taken advantage of, and because these men are these successful people that, the women are afraid to come forward and speak their truths. So it was a very powerful case of the week, and ultimately he got caught. And the even crazier part was that the wife knew and was pretty much co-signing his behavior, and was, allowing him to take her oxycodone and using it to drug these women because she was going to do whatever she could to protect her husband. And I'm like, wow, that is just crazy. So it was a really good case of the week. Very creepy, very disturbing, but well done. And then to see Olivia, rising to her level of fame right now and power is really interesting. And that moment when she was talking to Jake and he said something, he goes, you don't even know, like who you've become. And then she has this look on her face where she's like, I know exactly who I've become. And it was kind of like, ooh, Olivia, damn. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week, or just in these next few episodes. Is Olivia going to get knocked down a few pegs? Let's hope so, because I don't know if I like this new Olivia, but I kind of like this woman who we knew from the beginning, from day one, who takes charge and is authoritative and is dominant and handles her business. And I like that part of Olivia. And to see that scene when Cyrus is trying to talk to the president and she's standing like right beside him and she's answering the questions like in unison with the president, hilarious. Oh, I almost forgot. So we also had Elizabeth North threatening to go on the Liberty Report with Sally Langston, and Cyrus was trying to do everything he could to prevent that from happening. And ultimately, Olivia was like, "Let her go. Let her say what she wants to say." And then, why does she change her tune when she gets on the Liberty Report? Because the president offers her the chief of staff to Susan Ross. So now Lizzie Bear is back in the White House. Cyrus is beyond upset about this, and it is just going to be interesting to see Cyrus try to go up against Olivia, try to go up against like with the president. Oh my God, it's just going to be nuts, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.